hey, welcome to the channel. You can see I got a crooked door. This door is missing a cable on the left-hand side. If we go over here on the right-hand side, see the cable right there? We have it, but I get on this side and the cable is MIA. I cannot find it anywhere around here. So I'm gonna change these cables out and I'm gonna show you how to do it. First things first, you wanna make sure that you order the right size cables for your door. So I'm gonna show you real quick how high your door is, what the height of it is. You're going to need a tape measure. So once you got your tape measure, put it all the way down to the concrete, down to the floor, and run it all the way up. You can see right here, it says 7 foot. So I need 7 foot cables for a torsion spring door. So to change the cables on your garage door, you're gonna need a set of torsion cables. You're gonna need a set of spring bars for your torsion spring. I use a 7/16 wrench and then a pair of vice grips. All right, let's go to the door. All right, there's our torsion spring. We wanna take one of these spring bars and you wanna get your wrench, your 7/16 wrench. All right, once you climb up here, you're gonna see on the end of that spring, there's 4 holes. That's the end cone. You're gonna stick your bar inside of one of those holes like that. Make sure it's all the way in. You're gonna hold it nice and tight back here on the end. That's kind of what we got. And then we're gonna loosen up 2 set screws. There's one there and there's one there. Now once you loosen up those set screws, this bar is going to want to go down. It's gonna wanna come down. So be aware of that. And the whole power of that spring is gonna be on that bar. So just be prepared, be ready. It's nothing too crazy. Just make sure you got a nice tight grip and you're kind of giving it a little bit of upward pressure. All right, let me loosen those 2 set screws. All right, I got those 2 set screws loosened up. I'm hanging on to it. It's not too bad, but you know, it's wanting to go down, see? So what you wanna do is just rest your bar real nice and gently against that top panel like that. And that's what we got. That's called barring the spring. All right, next, this round thing right here is called a drum. We want to loosen the 2 set screws on it as well. And go over on the right-hand side and loosen that guy up as well. Okay, once you get that drum loosened up, it should spin freely like that. I'm gonna go over to the side and loosen it up. All right, got that drum loosened up. Once I broke that spring tension, meaning once I barred the spring, there's no tension distributed throughout this tube, which means, you know, the old cables are gonna slack. Here's the old cable. Go ahead and take your old cable and just get it off of there. Kind of like that. Just let it hang there. We're gonna take it off at the bottom. All right, guys, if you follow that cable all the way down. Here's our cable right here. We go all the way down. Let me get it sideways here. You can see this bottom bracket. You can see where the hoop connects to this bottom bracket. It's just a hoop and it pops right over this circle part of the bottom fixture. Now sometimes you can just like yank that thing off of there, kind of give it a downward, you know, pull and it'll pop right off. But if it becomes difficult, I like to get like a standard screwdriver here. You can stick it in there and put it right on the side of it. Yeah, the screwdriver helps. A lot, like I said, most of the time it just pops off. I just grab it and I just pull it downward. Boom. See how it just popped right off there? So the new ones, we're just gonna do the same thing. Instead of popping it off, we're gonna put the hoop on there, put the hoop on, clip it on, run it up the side of the track. Nice. All right, so here's a better look at what we're trying to do. Here's your bottom fixture. There's the round knob I'm talking about. So you got your cable, and the idea is you're trying to hoop it around. If you stick it on there, and you press it with your thumb, see how it clips on there? So that's what you're trying to achieve, get you a little better look. All right, so I got my new cable. I like to start right at the second hinge. Just put that cable in between the track and the door, just like that, and slide it all the way down. Take it all the way down, run it next to the door till you get to the bottom. Yeah, once you get down to the hinge down here, you may have to feed it back behind there. Come to the side and grab it, pull it down. All right, now we got our new cable. We got our hoop right there. Go ahead, typically you can just pop it on there with your thumb. Bam. All right, just like that. All right, so we got our new cable hooked at the bottom. Go ahead and grab the end of the cable, this end here, and let's run it up back behind the roller. Back behind the roller. Like that. Give it a good pull and just look down. Make sure it's not caught on anything. All right, we look nice and clear right there. Okay, now we're gonna go do the same thing to this side. And it doesn't matter, left, right side, whichever side you wanna start. Just pop that cable on, run it up the side of the track there, and we'll continue with the next step. Yeah, hey, listen, if it seems like it's pretty tight down here and you're having a hard time getting that cable around the track, there is no problem with you grabbing the side of the door and just kind of pulling the other way, you know, to spread it out. Once I gave it a good pull and shifted the door over to the right, kind of opened it up a little bit, now I can work and get that cable on. Yeah, look at that nasty cobwebs. Nasty spider webs all over the place. I don't like spiders. Comment below if you don't like spiders either. Yeah, they're all over the cable. Okay, got the hoop shoot champion.
Hoop shoot champion.
Let's go ahead and pop that on there. My big fingers. Okay, once you get it on one side, that one might need the screwdriver. All right, I was able to wiggle it on there. I just needed to put the camera down. Okay, we're attached to the bottom there. Like I said, we're at this number 2 hinge. I'm looking down. I like to just make sure we're nice, free, clear, which we are. We're gonna run the cable up underneath the number 3 roller. Nasty spider webs. And then our top roller, run it under the top roller like that. Pull it down. Make sure we're not stuck on anything. All right, good to go. So since I shifted it over to the right a little bit, I'm just gonna grab the style. I'm just gonna pull it back just a little bit, kind of square it up. I just kind of make sure there's equal distance in between the track, you know, the track and the side of the door. Over here on the left side now, about the same. So that's where I like it. You're not gonna hurt anything if you gotta shift your door one way or another to get that cable on at the bottom, basically is what I'm getting to. All right, we got our new cables on, and here we go. We're gonna put it all back together. All right, we're over here on the left side drum. Remember, we could spin it. Let's slide this guy over a little bit. All right, can you notice a couple things right there? There's a dimple there and a dimple there. And that's basically from these set screws. When you tighten it down, you know, it's going to do that. So what I like to do is I like to spin the tube and get it to an area where it's nice and clean, where there's no dimples. Then slide your drum over. Slide it all the way over to your bearing plate until you hear it. Physically touch it, hit it like that. Now we got our 2 set screws. Let's go ahead and tighten those 2 guys up. And just a pro tip, when you're tightening up your set screws, finger tighten them until you can't tighten them no more, both of them. And then with your wrench, you're gonna, you know, give it like maybe 3 good cranks. You don't really have to get too crazy and, you know, tighten it all the way down to the end of the set screw head. You know, a few cranks after hand tight and you're good. Okay, now we got it nice and tight. So now when we spin the drum, the tube moves too. We're gonna grab the end of our cable. See that little piece on the end there, on that cable? Well, if you spin this drum around, you're gonna come to something that looks like this. A little notch out, a little spot right there. Well, that's where the cable goes. Take your end of your cable, you're gonna stick it on the inside of the drum. Stick it on the inside of the drum like that. You can see this groove, it's rolling up. Well, that's where we want to place this cable, is in this groove. All right, you can see our cable, it's rolling in the groove. I'm holding it with my thumb. Yeah. Kind of keeping some pressure on it. And I'm gonna grab the tube and I'm gonna twist it until it's nice and tight. All right, I got the cable wrapped around that first groove until I couldn't pull it anymore. Once I get it to a certain point, that cable is wrapped around the drum and you can't twist it anymore. So just hold it hand tight like that. Next, you want to get a pair of vice grips. Okay. You're going to want to be able to fit those vice grips so that way when you squeeze them, it locks right onto that tube without slipping. While you're holding this hand tight, like that, just putting a little pressure on it. I'm not cranking down on it or anything, but just a little bit of pressure, holding it like that. You're gonna lock those vice grips either against the header, if you got enough, or this plywood right here is my ceiling. Lock them against the ceiling. I'll take my vice grips, lock it on the pipe. See how I'm doing that? I'm pushing the vice grips against the ceiling. Once the vice grips are against the ceiling up there, I'm gonna lock that into place like that. That's gonna keep this cable from unraveling. You can see I'm trying to twist it, it's not going anywhere. So yeah, that's how you set up your vice grips to hold that cable. Now let's move over to the right-hand side. Okay, now that we're on the right-hand side, it's a little different from the left-hand side. Instead of tightening down the set screws first, we're gonna take the cable end. We're gonna find the end of our drum on this one. Ah, there it is. Go ahead and put your cable in and wind it up. All right, I got it nice and hand tight. I'm not letting go of it. Once you get it to a point where you can't, pull it up anymore, the cable around the drum, just scope out your cable. Make sure it's not caught on anything. See, like right there? Yep, it's caught on that track. So you want to fix that. I just flipped it out with my finger. But yeah, it's nice and free now. All right, looks good. Not caught on anything. Okay, now I'm holding this drum with my hand with the same amount of pressure that I was holding the left-hand side. What you want to do is tighten those 2 set screws up. All right, now I got those 2 set screws tightened. My cable is where it needs to be. I come over here. Yeah, cable feels about like the same tension as that other one on the right-hand side. All right, if you made it to this point, freaking awesome job. You just now changed your cables on your garage door. You got it set up to reapply that tension. So now that you're at this point, just a little pro tip, if you haven't had your garage door serviced in a year or more, you're gonna wanna do this. All right, get that second winding bar. You're gonna pull up the bar to expose another hole and go ahead and stick that second winding bar in that hole. Now that I got it in that hole, go ahead and lift up that bar and do it again. Put that bar in that hole right there. All right, so now I got that bar in that bottom hole. I'm holding it. Let's go ahead and take this bar out. Now let's go ahead, instead of resting the bar against the door, just go ahead and pull up on it a little bit. Get it off your top section. Go ahead and tighten up those 2 set screws. All right, once you got those set screws tightened down, go ahead and remove the bar. Your vice grips, go ahead and grab those, take those off. All right, guys, you just changed your garage door cables. You reapplied the spring and you actually added a couple quarter turns to the spring. That's gonna definitely help with how that garage door operates, adding those couple quarter turns. Yes, you can see a little bit of daylight there on the right-hand side bottom, but this concrete is jacked up. All right, let's give this thing a raise. Here we go. Man, that works really good. Really, really smooth. Let's roll it down. Looks like our bottom panel's been hit. Whatevs. Man, all these spider webs and stuff. Yeah, that works great. So yeah, guys, make sure you get the proper tools that I showed you that you're gonna need. Get the right height of cable and follow my instruction and you'll have your door up and running in no time. Hey, I really appreciate you checking this one out. Hope I help you out. If I do, please subscribe to the channel. I'd like to hit the 100,000 mark before I leave this planet. Peace out.